some frames. These are called Layens frames. Layans. This is for horizontal hives or Layens hives. If you want to learn about horizontal hives, go to horizontalhive.com. Dr. Leo. We've been watching him a lot, and we decided we haven't made a video on it, but we lost all our bees last winter. A lot of people around here lost their bees. No one's quite sure why, but it made sense. I bought a couple books, and I watched these horizontal hives, and that's for another time. I'm sure you can research it. If you're watching this, you probably already know about horizontal hives and Layens hives. But it makes sense for the bees because it's more the natural environment. Langstroth hives are built for commercial honey industry, basically. I mean, they're made for putting, you stack them on top, you can unstack them, you can put them in your extractors and everything. But these horizontal hives make so much more sense. What do we do on these Langstroths? Bees, when they find a natural cavity in a log, in a tree, in a house, when they find a natural cavity, they don't work down here and then do up here again and then up here. And that's what we're doing when we put a Langstroth hive in. We're saying, here's your brood chamber. And then we're going to put a super up here. Okay, they got that filled. Okay, let's put another one. We're going exactly opposite of what they do in nature. But that's for our benefit, so we can reap the rewards. Well, if you've watched any of our videos, we're raising the bees. We're not raising bees. We've got an agreement or an arrangement with the bees. We provide them a home, and they, in return, pollinate our fruit trees and our garden and everything else. If they give us they make a little extra honey, we'll take a little bit, but it's theirs. So anyways, what bees normally do in a cavity, in a tree, in a log, they build from the top down. We've got all kinds of traps out right now. We had a trap we opened up a couple weeks ago. We haven't done a video on it. But in one day's time, one day, they had 4 sections of comb drawn this far down from the top. They don't start in the bottom and work their way up. So why are we doing this to them? For our benefit, not theirs. That's why I really researched this, and if you haven't, I highly recommend you look into it. These are called Layens hives, horizontal hives, and they're going to go left to right. We've got boxes. My dad's building all this stuff. These frames, he built everything. I'm putting them together, and I just put a bunch together. I glued them and put them together. I kind of got an assembly line going. Dad builds them, cuts them, and builds them, and I put them together. So we've got our holes in here because we're going to use foundation in these. Now we've got some that we're putting starter strips up in here where they can do their own foundation. We bought some really nice foundation that fits in this perfectly. It's from Italy. We got that through horizontalhives.com. But in order to do that, we need to put wire on first. We need to wire these. So my dad has these holes drilled in here, top and bottom. And we've got this little jig that Dad made up. And we just put this in the jig. We're using stainless steel wire. I'm going to cut a piece of wire. We got this we use stainless steel. I suppose you could use zinc coated wire or whatever, but this is food grade. Stainless steel is food grade. It's not going to hurt the bees. It's not going to hurt us. So I got this pre-measured, the length we need for this. I've got a little thing set up out in the garage. Pull the wire out to the edge of the wall, wrap around the nail, come back and cut it. And that's our length we need. So the first thing we do, we get our wire, and you need to get some of these little nails here. They're little 19 by ½ inch wire nails. You take a couple of these. Take some needle nose pliers, because you're going to smash your fingers or you're just going to fumble around and drop these a million times. It's a lot easier to use a pair of needle nose. Tap them in. You're going to need these again anyway, so have your needle nose. And I take a wire, and our handy dandy jig here. Start in the bottom. Go up to the top here. Wrap around 3 times, about twice, 2.5 times. Now we're going to leave that out there, and I'll explain that later. Leave those out there. Don't cut this off. You're gonna melt foundation on with that. So we'll do that here. We'll do a couple of these, and then we'll show you how we're doing the foundation. Do a 2-for-1 deal today. You learn how to wire up the frames and put your foundation on. All for the low, low price of $99.99 plus shipping and handling. So we're just threading this back and forth. Just like this. Get it all in. That's all you need. Leave that lay there now. There, you see? Now, you want this nice and tight. You're going to take your pliers. You're just going to pull up and push over with your thumb. Now pull this side in. Pull in. I love to hear that sound. You pull them just right. You get that little sound there. If you hold your finger there, it's not coming back out. Now listen. I love that sound. Just good and tight. Run your finger down. See if we can make her sing one more time. Now, pull it up. Wrap it around. That's it. Leave your pigtails hang out. I cut a little, I'll trim a little bit off. Now, as you can see, they're pretty tight. So we screwed around with this for a while until we figured I just figured out take those needle nose, pull it, use your thumb. Because once you bend it over there, it's not pulling back out, it's stiff wire. So we're going to do this one more time. Put this in the jig. Put our nails in. If you got a frame that's got a knot, do not try to drive a nail into your knot. Work around it. Go above it, below it, or something. You're going to pop that knot out, or you're going to be bending nails. Just stay away from the knots. Knots bad. I like to start with the end. Like I said, I got a little nail that I tapped into the wall out there, and what I do is I draw it out to the nail and wrap this around, I follow it back and I cut it. That's how I keep my measurements. So I usually, instead of trying to fight that little kink all the way through, I always put that in down here first. Find the hole. Is that the one? It sure is. Sometimes you get a little piece of wood or something with a hole, you can't find it. The other thing, especially on this first one, you pull it through, kind of hold your hand here so your wire doesn't twist up on you, make a little kink. Kinks are tough to get back out of wire. After you get through that first one, these go pretty smooth because it's much shorter. But once you get the hang of this, you get in a groove. It doesn't take long to do a stack of these. And typically what I'll do is I'll do about a stack of 20 of these, 20 or 30, and then I'll go and put foundation on all of them. But, okay.